Council meeting to order. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk call roll, please?
Evans?
Here.
Booty?
Here.
Bratton?
Here.
Burrows?
Here.
Mushka?
Here.
Schuster?
Here. First item of business is agenda approval. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So.
Motion by Schuster.
Second.
Second by Morose. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve minutes of previous meetings. Motion to that effect? Motion
Second.
by Grattan, second by Foodie. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve minutes of intervening meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Schuster. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment. Let the record show there is none other than Brett Bowman from the Chamber of Commerce. Under communications, at this time, I'll turn it over to Brett.
Hello, everyone. I'm here to kind of bring you up to speed on where we have been, where we are, and where we're headed. So, about 3 years ago, we, as chamber members, business owners, decided let's see if we can do something to help Juneau grow. Give people a reason to come to this town, maybe stay in the town for a little while, have some fun. Really what our mantra has been is we want Juneau to be a place where you will live, work, and play. Juneau doesn't really have a lot to offer in the way of mountains or water features or anything like that, so we set out to figure, all right, what can we do in Juneau? So this was about 3 years ago. We formed a committee, called the Downtown Improvement Committee. This was all made up from chamber members, and we identified what we thought were, SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we came up with what we thought was pretty good. Our small group. We became aware of there's a lot of different grants available out there. And one of them was the Greater Watertown Community Health Foundation. And we went to them, applied for a grant to get a plan paid for. So hire some professional company to do a plan for us. They accepted it, they approved it, we received $35,000 to pay for the plan, which I think everybody has, probably digitally in front of them.
It's in here.
I also have it on my computer, I have it on big roll of paper if anybody needs to see it. But basically, we brought professionals in from MSA, and they guided us. So they asked all the questions, we had to fill in the blanks. And it really did start with that SWOT analysis, which all of this is in this report that you guys have access to. And then we really focused on a certain area. If you go to, I think it was page 11, where it's the first like overview, it's outlined of Juneau, looking down on a plan view basically, of what area we settled on. And it basically, originally we started out just East Oak Street, because that's where our business district is. But we expanded it. We identified businesses or buildings and spaces that are underutilized. And this is another part of that report. But that's how we drew our border lines. That's how we, all right, this is what we're going to attack. So we identified a lot of vacant spaces. The old high school is one great example of just a building that's sitting there. Yeah, I know somebody owns it, but what's it doing for the community? Doesn't seem like much. And there's other buildings as shown in that presentation there, that report. Other than that, we identified what kind of value the buildings have in the area, what shape the buildings are in, what buildings are in poor condition, what are in average condition, and what are in good condition, and how can we promote landlords to spend some money to make their property better, which will make it prettier and make people want to come see it or maybe spend some time in Juneau, but also the people that rent the apartments above those places, if they're in nicer shape, you could charge a little more rent, you get a little nicer tenant. That was another big part of what we covered. Back to East Oak Street, which was the original plan. We we found out back that 3 years ago that this road, East Oak Street, is on the schedule at some point in the future to be redone. At that point, it was somewhere like 5 years out. So we thought, all right, if the money is going to be spent on East Oak Street, maybe we can do some recommendations on what might make East Oak Street better to just go along with that project. That's a lot of what that plan is. I think it's pages 21 through 25, where you're seeing these different options for East Oak Street that we came up with. Basically, it's 3 different options. Different parking options, different one-way versus two-way. And again, we've been doing this for 3 years now. We've had public comment. We did one of those at the American Legion last summer to bring people in to comment on some things, which helped us focus in on what you see in the finished product there. So I went in front of the county more than once, but just recently, it was about a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, to see if they would be willing to let us take some of their green space out in front of the county building, the main building, county building. So there's a lot of green space facing East Oak Street. It's great, but I think we could probably even make it better, put a water feature, some kind of make it a gathering place. And that's what you see on pages 21 through 25. There's different overviews and kind of renderings of what that might look like. It's not a finished product, it's just showing you there's something we can do there. And I refer to it as a city center, a gathering place. Maybe there's informational poster boards where people can put events up there. Maybe a live band can play there when we shut the street down. But it'll be a focal point of Juneau. The county agreed. There was one person that even said anything partly negative, and it really wasn't negative. It was just pointing out that the county is trying to downsize their footprint or their properties that they're in. They want to see if they can go everything into that one big building, which then they're going to have parking issues. So that was the only thing he said. We really want to give space, carve some of this grass out for the city if we're going to need it at some point for parking. I don't think that's really an issue. I don't think you're going to put parking there anyway. But that's not up to me. They are willing to listen. So they said, all right, go to the city, find out what their plan is, bring it back to us so we can really see it. Their one potential stumbling block is they don't know yet if they're going to do that move or they're going to consolidate into one building. And I think they'll probably want to know that before they go forward. The nice thing is, if we get this street done, let's say the street's being done tomorrow, we don't have to have that green space from the county right away. You know, that can be something added on later. But if we're thinking about it, we can plan for it and hope that it'll happen. There's also a page in there, and it's maybe page 33 or something, where there's the co-op space. So that's the other underutilized space. It's two blocks of grass where the co-op used to be, which we have said, well, maybe there's some housing opportunity there. And so basically what I'm doing today is just kind of here to answer any questions you might have. Our goal 3 years ago was to come up with a plan that the city will take and run with and do the funding and figure out, how do we do all this. So really, I'm at the end of what our plan was. I think we did a pretty good job, and now I want to give it to you guys and answering questions. But really, it's about making Juneau a place people want to come visit, tapping into the bike trail. I think whatever we do to the street should invite bikers, because really the Wild Goose Trail is what Juneau has. So we should probably tap into that thing. Dave, did I miss anything?
No, you didn't, Brett. I think you covered it very well. I guess other than the 4-story courthouse, county building and the old Pilsner building, those were some of the areas that, they are somebody's, but what can we do with it? How can we encourage them to do something more with those buildings? I like how MSA came in and they just didn't look at the downtown, they looked at overall Juneau to see what we could do with what we have, what we're not utilizing. And I think they did a good job for the money that they earned. But it's well detailed, several different concepts. There's 3 different concepts that they drew up for downtown. If you find that page.
Talk about that courthouse or the city
Yeah,
center?
mine says chapter 2, 1, placemaking, it's, there's concept A, B, and C on the right side of the page. Page 23, I think. See the little gray box up there. It shows the city center that is suggested on the courthouse lawn. Maybe if the county is considering adding more people to these buildings to downsize, maybe they'd want to add more, a chunk, make it a little larger, that have more employees to sit outside for lunch, you know, or break during the day if there's going to be that many more people there. Maybe it could be a little bit bigger.
There's no, like, financial information. MSA didn't give it any kind of estimates. I mean, we have no idea what money we're talking about.
We have no idea of money. It's just conceptual drawing at this point. The city street, that could be roughly guessed how much as to other streets we've done. Of course, there's 2 streets to remove to fix the street.
Yeah,
Because you got 2
you know,
layers.
I noticed that, you know, the #1 threat was our strip club, you know, part of our identity. Was there any discussion about that and how that folds into this family-friendly come to Juneau? I mean, we're talking about a public space that's proposed directly across from our strip club, right? I have that
Well,
correct?
it's down the street.
But,
It would be close, it'd be more, it'd be by Miller Street, actually touching Miller Street. So, but it's a distance.
yeah, I mean, it's just something that we can't, to me, can't ignore. The bright lights of the strip club. I don't have a solution to that.
Nobody does.
Right.
Freedom of speech.
Right.
We've gone that route, paid a lot of money.
Right, paid a lot of money.
Just
I know
continue
there's-
for a year and then you can get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's
We're
what it
hoping
comes
that-
down to.
we're hoping-
Or hope that people don't patronize them so that
Well-
they'll go out of business.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're making enough to cover their overhead a month. But, yeah, that was kind of our hopes, that they'd self-destruct.
Yeah, I am surprised that they have
Hung on as long
hung
as they-
on as long as they have.
And when the main proprietor was sentenced and sent to jail, we figured now we got that opportunity, but no, they stayed operating. He had a partner that kept it up and going. So, yeah, image is everything in a small community, and I agree with you, Kay. It's,
Right, that is an identity
Yeah.
issue. You know, you say you're from Juneau, it's like, well, you still got that strip club.
Yeah.
Yep, we still have that strip club. And at night when the spotlights go on, that's our focal point. And so, yeah, that's not taking away from, you know, some very interesting ideas, but that is certainly a concern. You just can't.
We identified that very early on, that the crystal ball, when we're done, silk stop there, or whatever it's called now. We agree that strip club is not in our long-term vision. How do you know,
Yeah.
how do you get rid of that?
Right.
But I don't know if you want to just stop everything just because of that, but I see your point too. But during the day, you know, during the day it'd be a nice gathering spot, and I don't think the strip club would have any really reflection on it during the day.
No, I mean, during the day, it just, you know, the facade is not clean, and you can see silk behind Solomon, and
Yeah.
it doesn't give a good feeling for the
Right. And
main
neither-
street.
And neither do the bullet holes that are in 2 different buildings on East Oak Street that should have been repaired a week after they happened, which was now 4 or 5 years ago, or 3 to 5 years ago, which they haven't. So I don't know if the city can come down on property owners for blight or whatever, because I mean, I see people, it's right next door to me and across the street from me, I own the bowling alley. And I'll see people in town just last Saturday, and they'll be walking up to you, and they'll stop and be looking at the bullet holes, and they'll be like, so you know, that's not a good image either. So I think there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up There's also grants out there, and low interest 3% loans up to $20,000 for people that own those buildings for making things prettier.
Was the owner of Solomon's ever part of the discussion? I mean, is he interested in?
So kind of to what Dan was saying, I never knew the owner that got arrested. I know his kid. I know his kid's mom. I know his niece and nephew, and it's just, my understanding is the guy that went to jail, his son is the one now running it. Basically, maybe it's not on paper, but he's the one that's doing it, and he's never going to run for president, I guess is a nice way to say it. He's not that kind of, no, I haven't talked to him.
It's not somebody invested in Juneau and
No.
making
Not at all.
improvements.
To me, that place is his hangout for him and his buddies. And somehow they're making a go of it. I think it's partially because it's the only strip club left in that county. So this is the only option. So when party buses do go out, they do come here. And it is, pays the tax base, but it's not long term.
Yeah, it's a problem.
I think a couple questions that I would have is, there's 3 different ideas, but there's no monetary value. So I mean, it's hard to come to an agreement on something or kind of throw ideas around when, we don't have that monetary amount. I mean, next year we'll be looking at taking a loan out and things like that, but there are a lot of capital things that have been getting pushed off throughout the years here that I think that, would need to be included, but it's hard to, I guess, plan for the future when we don't know the kind of money that we're looking at.
And that's probably your next step.
The city's next step, though.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
idea
so-
was just to get a plan, to show some options,
Yeah.
and then let's see what the city leaders want to do with it. There are grants, there's GEM grants, there's the ARPA, there's grants out there that can be had.
Yeah, and, unfortunately, we don't have like a grant specialist for the city of Juneau either. So any grant that we do currently qualify for, we pay MSA for help. So that would be an additional cost for us as well to apply for grants. So, yeah, it's definitely an option.
Just for the council's information, concept B is the one that was supported by the Chamber of Commerce. It still maintains a 2-way street. It still maximizes the parking.
And just because there's 3 options there doesn't mean you have to take that exact 100%. You can use these different options and even create another one, but I don't know how that goes.
Have we ever done the business improvement district kind of thing? I think I read something about that, right? BID?
We talked about TIFs.
TIFs, yeah, but for the businesses. I read something that maybe I am misspeaking here.
We did years ago, we had that, I don't remember what that was, the corner building right across from Miller's, east of 1850s. That one was loan money. I'm trying to think what that was called.
Okay, so consider creating a business improvement district. Wisconsin municipalities have the power to establish a business improvement district in their community.
Yeah, that building. I'm trying to remember what that was called, but
That's page, well, it's chapter 4.
They have page numbers on top in the black.
Oh, okay.
Top right.
Oh, 37. On 37, they talk about business improvement.
it was like a community grant program that was offered. The CDA orchestrated it. There was outside funds that were available for business improvements. And I think we only had 2 of them that ever used it. And the only one that I can remember is the one on the corner of Fair and Oak. And they made good on it. I mean, they paid their payments. At that time, it was just a trinket shop and what have you. And they made good on the loan and what have you, but it was just a matter of the city being a conduit for the money and
Yeah, I just
collecting the fees and what.
I certainly heard of the TID. but I never heard of the bid.
Yeah.
But
I think it was basically the same kind of program, a different name.
this, okay.
I wanted to say a community block grant program, but that's not right either, or something else.
Also should say that the one-way street, the chief said there'd be all kinds of long, arduous work to get the state to approve us making that a one-way street from a two-way. So,
And with the cost.
with the cost, right, and then there's all those costs because of all the proceedings to get it done, so it's kind of like, well, nice thought, but that's out.
I thought they were gonna try it on a trial basis and see how that would work, but you can't do that. Not when you're messing with flows of traffic and whatever. You have to get approval from the state for, even if it's a temporary situation. So,
And if you look at it, it's narrowed on the 26th end of concept B, so you have to slow down to get into the downtown area. You just can't come flying in anymore. Not that people do.
but I guess the unspent ARPA funds is what I would like to see the extras spent on. We know what a basic street is gonna cost us, or we will know after we put it to engineering, and then we use this as an adder, and hopefully we'd have adequate funds to be able to fund some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we need figures. We need,
Right,
you know,
absolutely.
I think we're lacking, you know, specifics to make.
Right, I mean, we can put the street right back the way it was, and we'll know those costs with MSA's help. And then we're gonna have to reach out to MSA to say, hey, if we do this inside the courthouse lawn, how much more is that gonna ask? How much is the treescaping along the route, decorative lighting? Those are the things that I think we should spend our ARPA funds on, because the whole community gets some benefit out of that. So.
Yeah, the only thing, you know, I know that MSA knows a lot about the grants is, you know, are there other, there are professional grant writers, right? Are there other grants that maybe MSA is unfamiliar with? I don't know. And
Keela, you picked at any of that at any time? If you have help?
I haven't looked. I grant write for my
Oh.
profession.
okay. Now we have a professional grant writer right here.
She kept smiling.
Part of my
I
job.
didn't know that. That was my lead-in.
Yeah, I
that
could
was
look
planned.
and see.
Now you can charge K mileage.
Right?
There's also a new Dodge County Tourism Board that was formed about a year ago, headed up by Becky Gluen, and we meet once a quarter at the Orcom Marsh Center. And their whole point is to drive business for all of Dodge County, bring people in from everywhere to Dodge County, so that's their goal, and they've got a representative from just about every municipality as part of that. So I actually currently am part of it for us, for Juneau, but I mean, I'd be happy to bring someone that knows stuff. But and they're a big resource for trying to locate grants, because that's going to help a great deal to do their purpose, bring people in.
Ever since the railroad was abandoned, the county put the rec trail through there. Anytime we do have anybody that comes in and gives us an opinion of our community, they say we're underutilizing that rec trail, that really can be something that would be helpful to our community, that we're just not marketing that, have you, so, yeah. That's been kind of the common theme, because as Brett said earlier, we don't have a water feature in our community, or not a lot of attractions, but there are people that utilize that trail. There's no two ways about that. If you get them even to turn up the main drag and, you know, go a couple blocks on their bike or whatever, or just hike up there, you know, might get some benefit. But I think the sprucing up of the downtown is definitely something we should be thinking about going into the last block of funding or remodeling, because there we don't qualify for any grant monies unless there's something out there that we're overlooking, because of the fact that we do have one whole block that has a government entity on the side of it, so that pulls us back as far as getting any community block grant money or anything like that. So we're very fortunate to get the 2 blocks, that we're going to be doing this year. I mean, that's a huge savings. And if you're talking, they had estimates up to $1.6 million the last time I had heard, and we're going to be under $1.1 million or about $1.1 million, and 800 and some odd thousand are going to be funded through the block grant program. So that's huge for a community of our size to be able to receive that kind of funding. So probably wouldn't be able to do those 2 blocks this year without waiting for a borrowing or something like that. So this final block, I think we got to do some careful planning and definitely look at our finances. And like I said, I'd like to see those ARPA funds go towards improving the landscape down there, or the treescape, or whatever you want to call it, to make it look a little more inviting and not look like a rubber stamp of everything else we do in town. But will all be up to you. Any other questions for Brett? And I appreciate your presentation, Brett. You did a good job. Like I said, this wasn't anything that the chamber took lightly. I mean, they've been studying this for about 3 years now and whatever. They would like to improve the downtown. Unfortunately, the chamber doesn't have a lot of dollars to throw at the downtown, but they certainly got a lot of enthusiasm and ambition, to add to the project wherever they can and what have you. So, like I said, just keep an open mind, and hopefully we can do something good down there. I appreciate you going to the county too, Brett, because that was the first step, because none of this could be planned without, their endorsement. And I guess if you can keep prodding, and try to get a commitment from them.
Well, they just want to see what is the final product going to look like. So basically, is it B, or is it mostly B and parts of C or A? I mean, I think they'll go for it. There's a no-lose situation for them.
Do you think that they're doing a space study, right? To see, because they have all these buildings, some of them aren't filled. If they're going to move the people from Henry Dodge downtown, do you think they will give an answer before they've made a final decision on that? I mean, if they're worried about parking?
So it was one person that brought it up, but everyone else, even in this room, you're not going to put parking right there. You're just not going to do that. So, parking garages start going up. You got that's, it's not cheap, but again, that's on them. They're going to have to consider something anyway. But when we say, hey, cut off a big chunk of that grass and sell it to the city for $1, and the county no longer has to worry about it. They don't have to mow it. They don't have to do anything to it, but they can still use it. They come out there for lunch. They can still use that space, and it's going to look better. So.
You have a whole county board. You were at the committee.
I was there. Well, there was more people than this.
Oh, really? You were at the whole full board?
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't think it went to full board yet.
It was a
That's what I
room.
heard.
Twice
30
as many
people?
Twice as many. Double this.
Or were you at the finance committee? It would be more than twice. It'd be more than a dozen people you were meeting with.
I want to say there's 30-some.
It's probably the committee meeting.
It was a county meeting where they wanted to hear what the city wanted to do.
You got like 38 supervisors, so that would be a full county board meeting. Not that they all make it, but
Chief B was there, does that help?
depending on
He
what
serves
committee
on
he's on.
probably a couple different
Okay.
committees.
Because I went to him before I went to the county.
Right.
As per your recommendation.
Well, there's always bureaucracy,
All right.
layer after layer.
Hey, that's what you can do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other communications, clerk?
Nope.
Communications, or approved payments of bills, checks for $1,805,774.10, electronic transfers, $418,736.94. Is there a motion to approve the bills?
So moved.
Motion by Merle, second by Schuster. Any further discussion?
I'm going through there, I've looked at it how many times. MEUW, we have 2 memberships? It might have been discussed some other time. We have two membership fees, $855 and $25.66.
For MEUW?
Yeah.
Is it
That's
electric?
That's a municipal electric wholesale group.
Oh, yeah, I know, I wouldn't
One for
know.
the city, one for the utility, maybe?
No, the utilities, they do their own accounts payable. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Maybe one for Alfeld, one for Nick. I think that gives them the ability to vote, not that it makes a whole lot of difference for our community. Good question. You guys bring it up at the utility meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Burrows.
Aye.
Schuster.
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Foodie.
Aye.
Groton.
Aye.
Rutschka.
Aye.
Reports of officials, Mayor, Resolution 69, 2023. Mayoral appointments, whereas the mayor has diligently searched for individuals willing to give of themselves by serving on the Plan Commission and Fire and Police Citizen Committee, and whereas the mayor wishes to make the following appointment. Plan Commission Kathy Ferrari, term goes to 8/2025. Fire and Police Citizens Committee, also Kathy Ferrari, goes to 2/2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council, City of Juneau, accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council, City of Juneau, this 13th day of February 2024. Entertain a motion approved. Someone? Motion by Morose, second by Foodie. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Burrows.
Aye.
Foodie.
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Groton.
Aye.
Rutschka. Schuster.
Aye.
I guess on that note, I should have, during discussion, I should have said Kathy's taken Tom Schulte's position. Tom served for many years on the Plan Commission, and he elected to step down at the first year. His health is not real good anymore. And we had an opening on the fire. That committee has never met, to my knowledge. So it's just something that we just have for, it's for disciplinary situation within the ranks or something like that. That can be, they can be called up for that, so. Okay. Then we also have Resolution 70, 2023, resolution approve updated fee for Kunkel Engineering. Jane, would you like to read that one?
Sure. Resolution 70, 2023, resolution approving updated fee schedule for Kunkel Engineering. Whereas the clerk treasurer has received an updated fee schedule for Kunkel Engineering, and whereas the clerk treasurer recommends that the attached Exhibit A fee schedule be approved. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 13th day of February 2024. I move to approve Resolution 70, 2023.
Second.
Motion by Foodie, second by Muchka. Any further discussion? Some of these fees have been altered, it seems. Is he doing, I mean, is this something that kind of boilerplate for the rest of the communities that he's servicing?
Yeah, he said that we're the last to have an updated fee schedule, and he hasn't been charging those obviously until we approve them, but you know, we're not going to see really a difference in that and what we pay.
We're still making 10% over what we pay them, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, minimal.
Any questions on any of them? And when we do hire him for like property maintenance, that's on an hourly basis, and is that listed in here as well?
I'd have to double check and look. I don't have that hard copy in front of me.
See it.
Usually like a $40 an hour charge or something like that for that. I don't know if that's.
I'd have to verify that with him.
Okay. No other questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Foodie.
Aye.
Muchka.
Aye.
Evans.
Aye.
Groton.
Aye.
Morose.
Aye.
Schuster.
Aye.
Resolution 70, 2023 is passed. So I have nothing else to report. Clerk treasurer, you have anything?
No, audit is Monday through Wednesday next week. So if you guys need anything from me, it may be a couple days before I get back to you. But things are going well, we'll be ready by then, so. That's all for now.
Okay. Moving on, written reports, building permits, police department, Juneau Fire and Rescue, and Juneau EMS reports. Anything on any of them? Okay, then we'll move on to reports of committees, commissions, and boards. Jeanette, how are you?
I'm good. I wasn't here in January. I know you missed me.
Were you?
Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
I was in Columbus.
I'm still in mourning.
I'm going to start these down with Richard, and you can each take one. I better take one so I know what I'm talking about, don't you think? Yeah.
How was your trip?
I was out in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm my missions activator at my church, and I was learning about how to do that better. So it was very good. But what I have in front of you are just some awesome things that are going on with the library. I'm just really excited about some partnerships that are going on with the library and other organizations. And I know, Brett was even talking here earlier about partnering with the county. And so the more that your library is utilized and other partners come in, the more your community thrives. So we just had Carol Shirk last night for her first program, a 3-part gardening program. She talked about succulent gardening last night, and then she'll be talking about seed starting in March, and then spring gardening tips in April. And I found out last night that Carol Shirk is one of only 5 master gardeners in the state that travel and give presentations. So she is right here in Dodge County, super knowledgeable, and they cannot receive a fee for their volunteer work, and so she provides all this education to us for free. So make sure any of your gardening enthusiasts hear about this. Going still with that spring growing theme, I learned about Neighborhood Forest. It's based out of Minneapolis, and their goal is that every child gets to plant a tree. This is something that a library or a school or a scout organization can partner with them. Families register online. This thing in front of you has a QR code, or it actually has the URL that you can type in. You go in, you register, it's free. You say, I have a 4th grader, here's his or her name, and then the parents do click, I agree that I will plant this tree. So we're talking about spending lots of money on treescape, but we could also treescape and get kids involved in beautifying our town. So registration by March 15th, trees arrive at the library for pickup, and I'm talking like saplings, right? Not big old potted nursery trees. But they'll arrive by Earth Day, which is April 22nd, with that encouragement that get on out there and plant that tree. And then last but not least, this, like, you could have a council team. We have a jigsaw puzzle race. We saw this idea, Waupun Public Library did this 2 weeks ago. They had a waiting list with teams wanting to participate. Everybody, we have enough slots for 8 teams. You can have up to 4 people on your team, but it could be a team of 1 if you wanted. But you will all be given, each team, the same puzzle. And then it's a race, who can put it together the quickest. One of our librarians attended the event in Waupun with her sisters. They came in 5th place out of 8, and they completed a 500-piece puzzle in 19 minutes.
Oh my.
I'm like, none of those people better come to Harvard because
I would not be against that.
but this is just a really fun opportunity, and we're doing it on Leap Day, on the extra day in February, the 29th. So, you know, if you like to puzzle, great. If you know someone that likes to puzzle, tell them about it. And this is not the puzzle that we will be giving out, but there will be prizes as well. So we're just partnering with a lot of groups. We've got a lot of fun things going on. A new light table that we purchased with some Greater Watertown Community Health Foundation funding for kids in our interactive space. So come on in and check out your library. There's also free hot cocoa samples tomorrow for Valentine's Day. Hot cocoa. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Jeanette.
Yeah. I should have brought the cocoa tonight, is what you're saying, right?
Move on. Plan Commission, David.
Plan Commission, we did meet. We had, Brett came and showed us his, the design that the MSA had drawn up. And that's where we recommended Plan B. We thought that that was going to be could be a good plan for the community. It gave us the most parking spaces with a wider section on the south side and what we have today on the north side of the street as far as widths. We also had the Housing Authority in on Western Avenue. If you've noticed the huge ditch that's right off the sidewalk, we were concerned about that. We didn't see that in the plans. And after digging into the plans, we had not had an elevation plan given to us to view. So they're going to put an 18-inch storm drain in that ditch, and it's going to go to their pond on the south, and they're going to fill that in, and there'll be a 3-foot run of grass run north and south parallel to the sidewalk, and then the swale will start level on the north end, and it'll be 3 feet deep on the south end by the very south house apartment duplex that is built. They can't get it any shallower. The step, the back door on the south duplex is below the sidewalk that far. We can't fill that in. So it will be safer for the children once the fence is removed and that all this grading is done. It'll be much safer for our kids. And we had to discuss the removal of tenants occupying the ground floor in what used to be American Families office area on South Main Street. So the chief went to do his due diligence with that. So that was our meeting.
Any questions for Dave? And none? Move on, Finance. Richard.
Finance, we had a meeting that resulted in a bunch of resolutions. So I'm just going to go through the resolutions and you'll hear about our meeting. First one, the city received 8 bids for the reconstruction of the remaining portion of East Oak Street. And the Finance Committee is recommending the lowest bid submitted by Copeland and Keenest. So the resolution is Resolution 71-2023, award construction bid for East Oak Street, Fair Street to Depot Street. Whereas the City of Juneau, Wisconsin did advertise and receive sealed bids for the 2024 East Oak Street from Fair Street to Depot Street reconstruction project, and whereas 8 bids were received and are on file with the city engineer as shown in Exhibit A and summarized below. Copeland Keenest Company Incorporated, $1,095,553. RLAM, $1,112,669.05. Advanced Construction Inc., $1,143,798.90. Dorner Inc., $1,147,307.60. Wonder Construction Inc., $1,166,379.34. Forest Landscaping and Construction Inc., $1,228,211. Vinton Construction Company, $1,394,000.76. Rock Road Companies Inc., $1,448,421.52. Whereas a public hearing was held on April 18, 2023, for the purpose of hearing all interested parties concerning matters related to the proposed assessments for this project, now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau, Wisconsin hereby awards the construction bid for the East Oak project to Copeland and Keenest Company Incorporated, Green Lake, Wisconsin, for an amount not to exceed $1,095,533, passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 13th day of February 2024. I would move for passage of Resolution 71-2023.
Second.
Motion by Evans, second by Mochka. Any further discussion? This was the same construction firm that handled Highland Street. We had minimal problems with them, and they seem to have a pretty good reputation in the business and what have you. I see no reason why we wouldn't grant it. So. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Evans?
Aye.
Mochka?
Aye.
Rudy?
Aye.
Grattan?
Aye.
Burrows?
Aye.
Schuster?
Resolution 71-2023 is passed.
All right, the next one was a suggestion by Megan for a fee being added to the fee schedule for providing a copy of a recorded meeting upon request. So it's Resolution 72-2023, approve amending 2024 fee schedule. Whereas the Finance Committee has reviewed a request to add audio recordings to the 2024 city fee schedule, and whereas the Finance Committee recommends the following addition to administrative fees and charges. Audio recordings, 1 meeting per USB drive, $20. Whereas the Finance Committee recommends amending the fee schedule with the addition of the line item as shown in Exhibit A. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 13th day of February 2024. I move for passage of Resolution 72-2023.
Second.
Motion by Evans, second by Grattan. Further discussion? Any major changes in that?
No, well, we didn't have anything for audio recordings, and that seems to be kind of a new thing. And
Pretty much what we discussed at committee, I guess, is what I'm saying.
yeah, right.
I
Yep.
don't know if we were doing any further research on that.
Oh, no. And I did talk to David about that today as well, and he thought it was good.
Okay. No other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Evans?
Aye.
Grattan?
Aye.
Rudy?
Aye.
Burrows?
Aye.
Mochka?
Aye.
Schuster?
Aye.
Resolution 72-2023 is passed.
All right, Glander Transit and Performance Motorsports have been storing their salt with the city. This resolution will establish a yearly charge for storage. So, Resolution 73-2023, approve salt storage contracts with Glander Transit and Performance Motorsports. Whereas the Finance and Public Works Committees have reviewed a request to store salt for Glander Transit and the Performance Motorsports in the city salt shed. And whereas the Finance and Public Works Committee recommend a fee of $200 be charged per year for the storage of salt in the city's salt shed. And whereas the Public Works Committee recommends that Glander Transit and Performance Motorsports purchase salt independently through their own vendor, now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation. Passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 13th day of February. I move for passage of Resolution 73-2023.
Second.
Motion by Evans, second by Foodie. Further discussion? We had Mr. Glander show up and explain the situation that both him and Performance Motorsports. So it seems like it's a win-win for both of us. We get low, we can dig into their inventory, and vice versa. And basically, no money gets exchanged or whatever. And Joe seemed to assure us that the loading was all done by the city's equipment, and they did weigh the buckets and stuff like that. So I guess you can always dig in a little bit deeper and get a little bigger scoop. I mean, there is an element of error there, but nothing that I don't think we're gonna worry about. So they work together pretty well on this. So there is some advantage for the city to be able to do this, provide them with that space. And it's, I guess, unlawful or illegal for the city to sell salt to a private entity. So this kind of eliminates that opportunity or open for scrutiny there. So as long as they're all working together and nobody's getting hurt, no harm, no foul, I guess they will all work out. So.
Joe also said that the loading is done when they're loading the city trucks. So it's not that we're making special trips. When the loader summers out, we run back, help them out.
No other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Evans?
Aye.
Foodie?
Aye.
Groton?
Aye.
Burrows?
Aye.
Muchka?
Aye.
Schuster?
Aye.
Resolution 72, 2023 is approved.
All right, one more. Landmark Credit Union no longer offers secure deposit accounts beyond the NCUA insurance amount of $250,000. So we're going to move our funds to Farmers and Merchants Bank. Resolution 74-2023. Approve moving funds from Landmark Credit Union to Farmers and Merchants Bank. Whereas the Utility Commission and the Finance Committee have received a request to move city funds from Landmark Credit Union to Farmers and Merchants Bank, and whereas Landmark Credit Union no longer offers secure deposit accounts beyond the NCUA insurance amount of $250,000, and whereas the Utility Commission and the Finance Committee recommend moving city funds from Landmark Credit Union to Farmers and Merchants Bank, now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Juneau accepts the aforementioned recommendation. Passed by the Common Council of the City of Juneau this 13th day of February 2024. I move for passage of Resolution 74-2023.
Second.
I would offer one quick comment. There's two different Farmers and Merchants Bank. I assume you're referring to Farmers and Merchants Union Bank, which has an office here in Juneau and in Columbus and other places. There's also Farmers and Merchants State Bank. They have offices in Waterloo, Marshall, and now Lake Mills. So I assume you were referring to the Farmers and Merchants that has an office here in Juneau, right?
Yes.
So you should just change it to make sure you're clear that it's Farmers and Merchants Union Bank,
Okay.
not Farmers and Merchants State Bank.
Is it
Because they're two
State
different,
Bank?
totally different entities. I'm on the board for Farmers and Merchants State Bank. This is Farmers and Merchants Union Bank.
So just add union.
Right,
Okay, will do.
just because there can be some confusion there.
Sure.
Well, we're looking for another institute. What do you got to offer?
It's an excellent bank. It's been one of the fastest growing banks in the state. Done very, very well. But this one has done fine too.
I won't be driving deposits way there every day.
Right.
You guys will be paying me way more
I
than
think
that.
we're just
Yeah.
volunteered.
How about you just buy me a car? And then
Once a
that'll
month.
do it.
Once a
Right.
month, we send it in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
legally.
Well, we all agreed at Finance and at Utility Commission that we want to make sure we don't put all our eggs in one basket, so we'll be looking
Right.
for
Yeah.
another institution.
Oh, it makes
to be able
sense.
to do business with.
Right. Well, there's a problem. Credit unions don't pay any income tax. Banks do. It's an inequitable arrangement that should be addressed because it's not equitable now that credit unions do the same work as banks, that they're not taxed like banks. It's a loophole that's not widely publicized, but it should be addressed.
Reason being that they can generally offer a higher,
Well, reason
a better
being,
rate for,
the real reason being is that credit unions didn't used to do the same work as banks. They've generally just had smaller deposit accounts and a little bit of lending. Now they've been extending what they do to the point where they have commercial loans and really are direct competitors of banks. In fact, there's been a couple of credit unions who have purchased banks in the state. So now that they're doing the exact same thing as banks, they should be taxed like banks.
prime example here.
Right?
This is the M&I here.
Exactly.
So,
Right?
okay. All right, very good, good information. No other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Who was the second on that? Oh, you were Groton, sorry. All right, Evans,
Aye.
Groton,
Aye.
Foodie,
Aye.
Morose,
Aye.
Muchka, Schuster.
Aye.
Resolution 74, 2023 is passed. Moving on, or is there anything else for finance?
That's enough.
Yeah. On a roll.
I gotta read them ordinances later, so.
Oh, yeah.
Personnel. Okay,
Personnel did meet, we had a closed session regarding personnel issues. We did approve an unpaid leave, about 5-day unpaid leave, that was approved. And we had to review a FMLA, request family medical leave. But we postponed any action on that because there was some deficiencies in the medical certification. So we're waiting until the information is all on the medical certification. And that was our business, personnel.
any questions for Kay? Moving on, public safety,
We did not have a meeting.
public works.
Public Works, we did meet. Steve Kranz was here and we discussed in great detail the doors coming in up the ramp. They're having moisture on the inside and it caused the floor to come up. They had to peel the floor out to get the water on. We are looking to put a ceiling fan in that would move the air across the door, and that would alleviate, they've been running the box fan blowing on the door frame, and it's been working fine. Of course, we haven't had below zero weather yet again, so, you know, but it's been working fine where otherwise it was freezing up and condensating real bad. We talked about setting a date for Christmas decoration installation and removal. The Christmas decorations will be put up the week after Thanksgiving and will be taken down no sooner than 2 weeks after the first of the year. Of course, that's weather permitting. So that the decorations are up a little bit longer and we can enjoy what the community has helped purchase through such as donating at the Pake and whatnot. We also set a time for the Christmas trees to be removed downtown. The trees will be removed within 7 days of the city decorations coming down. We discussed the salt shed storage arrangement and the sale of city salt, that there is no more selling of city salt to businesses or private individuals, which is when you find out that we're tax free, that you can't be doing that. Then we went into closed session to discuss situations that were going on, and Joe gave us a report that the new deep fryers were up and running. The new dishwasher will be installed February 12th in the community center. Tree work is being completed and paid for. Snow removal and maintenance were done, now focusing on fixing potholes. Joe has been doing small jobs around City Hall. Joe is getting estimates for the park bathroom renovations. And he's having surgery. Joe is having surgery on his knee February 9th, which is already, and will be gone for at least a week. And that was our meeting.
There's 2 corrections. There wasn't any decision on the ceiling fan put out there. It was more or less recommended by Steve, a heater at floor level would be more effective than a ceiling. And then also, that's the community center bathroom renovations, not the park bathrooms.
That's what it says,
Oh,
park
I thought they were
bathroom.
park bathroom.
Community center.
Community center.
Should be the one taking notes.
Corrections noted.
Any questions for David? Okay, move on, cable TV.
We did not meet.
CDA, we did not meet. Recreation Committee, we did meet. Okay.
Yeah, we did meet. We had a discussion about the hours of the community center. You know, we have a rec director that works a very flexible schedule. He sometimes works weekends, evenings. So he will assure that the community center is open for scheduled programs, but if you ever need him, you know, anybody can contact him on his work cell. We also have been having, some of us, a couple of us, been having problems with we moved it to the 4th Wednesday, and now that conflicts with a couple of us, so we moved the rec monthly meeting back to the 3rd Wednesday of the month. Jacob gave his report. He has started a newsletter. So I don't know if you've seen this. It's online, it's been posted. So gives you both January and then February, some of the highlights of what he has going in recreation. Basketball tournaments are finished. They went well, although one was canceled due to the big storm we had. Paul and I were going to work that one, so we didn't have to go out in that stormy weather. Jacob has been scheduling open gym time and has seen some community participation. Strong Bodies has resumed. Good participation in the Wednesday pickleball, and then there is some interest in even starting a pickleball league. So, yeah, you know, pickleball is the coming thing. He's doing a craft creation new program, and youth baseball and softball registration is open. So he continues to organize all our different events in the rec department. And anybody have any questions? And that's my report.
Thank you, Kay. Moving on, Utility Commissioner Richard.
Okay, Utility Commission, like the mayor mentioned, the Utility Commission approved moving funds also from Landmark to Farmers and Merchants Union Bank. We approved a contribution of $2,000 to help pay for the crosswalk signals. If the funding is already sufficient for this, then the contribution is to be designated for decorative light poles on East Oak Street. Nick attended the MEUW conference where he learned about preparations communities need to be aware of for electrical vehicle charging. And this will be a costly thing, and WPPI and MEUW will be assisting small communities that apply for grants. Nick Cook, who is the electric line apprentice, is completing his first year. I want everybody to be aware there's an insert in the current utility bill requesting participation by the public regarding a water survey. This will help the utility address the chlorine smell issues in the water. And this is kind of a neat thing. The DNR notified the Juneau wastewater treatment facility that they will be receiving the 2023 Outstanding Facility of the Year Award. Criteria for this award includes maintaining high quality, effluent, accurate documentation, and excellent housekeeping. Keep in mind that this is while a major facility upgrade is happening out there. There's only one Facility of the Year award given in the state, so I want to offer congratulations to the wastewater treatment plant team on being selected for this prestigious honor.
Isn't that something they have to go above and beyond to go look for, just to apply for that award, I think?
They don't apply for it, I believe that they were nominated by a DNR person.
I was just asking, because I know in Columbus, the superintendent, or the lady that ran it there, she says that they would go look for these awards out there sometime, and there's a lot of extra work to it, but they could apply for it. So I was just wondering.
According to the letter trail that we got, I believe it was they were nominated by a DNR
That's
person.
awesome.
Yeah, congratulations to them. They've
Yeah.
had a rough year, and I think it's wonderful that
That's
they are
cool.
getting an award.
It's a very cool
It
thing.
is great.
Yeah.
Congratulations
There's
to all.
only one offered in the state, so
Yeah,
it's kind of a big deal.
it is.
And this isn't like that compliance maintenance report that we approve every year where they do their own grading and what have you. This is actually somebody from the outside that actually
Yeah.
comes in and inspects and what have you. And also keep in mind, our plant is 40 years old out there.
Right, so.
Expected life of a
Kudos
plant
to
is
them.
20 years, so we've done pretty well keeping that thing tied together and looking good. So otherwise, I'm sure we wouldn't have been considered. So yeah, kudos to the staff out there.
So, we have an ordinance, a couple of ordinances. And I don't think everybody else has this on there, so
Okay.
listen closely. The first one, proposal to amend chapter 13.08.020, paren D, paren 4 of the City of Juneau Code of Ordinances from 13.08.020, paren D, paren 4. Property owners are required to seal sewer laterals when a building is raised or moved, and the lateral will not be connected to a new building. 2, 4, raising or moving buildings. The following provisions shall govern the sealing of sanitary, sewer, and water service laterals if a building is to be raised or moved. A, property owners are required to seal sanitary, sewer, and water service laterals at their connection with the main in accordance with standards set forth in 13.14.190, paren N, and 13.14.220, paren O, within 30 days of raising or moving a building. B, if a building is to be constructed on the property within 12 months, existing sewer and water laterals may be used in accordance with standards set forth in 13.08.120, paren C. Okay, the second one, this is the first reading of the second ordinance change. Proposal to amend chapter 13.08.120, paren C of the City of Juneau Code of Ordinances from 13.08.120, paren C, use of existing building sewers. Existing building sewers may be used in connection with new buildings only when they are found on examination and test by the proper approving authority to meet all requirements of this chapter. 2, 13.08.120, paren C, use of existing building water and sewer laterals. 1, existing building water and sewer service laterals may be used in connection with new buildings if constructed within 12 months. 2, existing building water and sewer service laterals must be inspected and tested to be in acceptable condition under the discretion of the proper approving authority before the decision is made to reuse them. 3, water and sewer service laterals to be reused must meet all requirements of this chapter. 4, if sewer laterals are to be reused, they must be sealed prior to the raising or moving of the existing building to eliminate the risk of water entering the sanitary sewer lateral until the connection can be made with the new building.
Okay, done.
I guess I kind of instigated this because right now we've got a situation where that duplex is a good example. It's made with current, or the laterals are at today's standards, made of PVC and copper and what have you. To tear up a street just to abide by our older existing ordinance is kind of redundant, or kind of just a cost to everybody involved if the service ladders are going to be reused shortly. So we kind of put that in a time frame. That's really the purpose behind all of this, is that we're not just tearing up streets to abandon lines only to have the street tore up another time to tie the line back on to be able to build on a given lot. Pretty much common knowledge with this utility staff on which laterals will have a chance to be reused or not reused and whatever. But we're in a situation right now, like I said, that's a prime example of that duplex. It's got a lateral that comes off the street that's of vintage materials, or current vintage materials right now, that can be reused, so why make them tear up the street, you know, to utilize it at a later date and whatever. But if it sits too long, well, then they'll fall into that category where they'll have to do something with it. So. Okay, that's just the first reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, moving on.
Anything else to report on utility, Richard?
No.
Any old business tonight? Any new business? Approved provisional licenses for 45 days, there are none. Approved regular bartender's license for 2023, expires June 30th, 2024. Nadia Serwinski. Is there a motion to that effect?
So
Motion by Foodie, second by Morose. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No other business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Schuster.
Second.
Second by Morose. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. This meeting's closed.